Hello friends, so we will be solving this query today. So we have to find those managers who are having more than 3 employees that are reporting to them. So we have this input table employee manager. So if you can see, we have these columns: ID of the employee, name of the employee, the department to which they belong, and their respective manager IDs. So we can see that these two employees, they are not having any manager ID, so maybe they are the senior most person, or maybe they are not having manager and no one is reporting to them. Anything is possible. And then we can see that for all these employees, from these we can see that the manager ID is employee with ID 1. That means this one means this is the employee to which they all report. So that means this name Ankit, he is the manager of all these employees: Anupama, Dinesh, Avinash, Ketan, Aniket. So, and including this. So clearly we can see these are 6 employees who are reporting to this manager Ankit. So this should be possibly in our output. Now this employee, these 3 employees, Asha, Nivedita, Rajat, they all are reporting to manager with employee ID 2. So they should also come because more than 3 employees, 3 or more than 3 employees, and similarly this one. So we will try to write these queries and let's see if we can solve it in multiple methods. Okay, so let me start with method 1. So here what I am doing, I am selecting manager ID from this table and I am selecting count star as CNT from employee manager. Okay, where manager ID is not null. So I am putting this because I don't want to include this person, because manager ID null means they are not reporting to anyone. So there can be more than 5-6 employees who are at such a senior position that they are not reporting to anyone, but their manager ID is null. That means they are not reporting to anyone. So I want to remove these two records from our calculation. Okay, and here group by manager ID. So if I just run this query, I can see now I have the information what I wanted. I have those manager IDs to whom more than 3 people are reporting, 3 or more than 3. So now I just need to get information of these managers for which this count is more than or 3 or more than 3. So let's put this in a subquery, and then I will put select name ID count from employee manager, inner join this table which is name as A on A dot manager ID. So this query, the inner query that we just ran, this I am naming as A. So the manager ID that is coming from this query, this should be the employee ID in my actual table, so that I can get the details of that particular employee. E dot ID, and where this count should be greater than equal to 3. So see, we are getting these 3 names: Ankit, Dinesh, Diksha. So let's run this main query also. So here we already know that this Ankit, he is the manager of these 6 employees. So Ankit is coming, his ID is 1 and 6 people are reporting to him. Then employee 2, who is Dinesh. So to Dinesh 3 employees are reporting, and similarly 4, who is Diksha. So to Diksha also 3 people are reporting. So in the inner query we just did an aggregation on manager ID and find out the count. So this count will tell us how many people are reporting to this manager ID, and then in the outer query we just used this manager ID and checked with the employee ID in actual table and retrieved all the details. Department also, if we want department, that also we can take. So it will give department also. Department. Okay, so department is also coming. So this is one method of doing it. Now let me try with method 2 is how we can do it. So now let me do select star, and then here what I am doing a self join. So this table I am doing the self join with the same table. So just imagine this table, one more table is present here. Okay, so what I will do, from this table I will take the employee ID, and for each of these employee IDs I will count the, in the second table I will do the count of manager ID. Okay, so from this second table I will do a count of manager IDs. So for example, imagine that this is the table, I will do a count on this thing. So this will be 6, this will be 3, this will be 3. So these are the count of these managers who are having more than 3 employees. So this will be first manager, this will be second, this will be third. So this is 6, this is 3, and this is also 3. Okay, and then this manager ID I will check on the employee ID with the actual table. But instead of direct count star, what I am doing, I will do a partition by window function. So this will allow me to preserve all the details, unlike here where I am doing aggregation, so I cannot preserve these details, hence I have to use this inner join. But here I will be using a partition by clause also. So what I will do, manager ID, and before that let me just mention what from which table I am taking these details. From employee, employee manager E1 inner join employee manager E2. So I am doing a self join on this table. So first I am checking E1 dot star, so I am taking all the details from this first table, and this manager ID I am counting on this second instance, and then over partition by E2 dot manager ID order by E2 dot manager ID as count. So it is more or less like this, just that here since we had done aggregation, so we cannot preserve these details. Here we are doing aggregation but with window function, so we are able to preserve these details. Okay, so I am taking all the details from E1 table and putting a count on E2 dot manager ID with a window function, and then this join on, now on E2 dot manager ID should be equal to E1 dot ID. So since I am doing a count on this, which will give me those managers who are having more than 3, this manager ID should be equal to employee ID of E1. Same thing we have done here also. The manager ID which is coming from inside query, that we are checking with the outside query. Here we are doing the same thing in the same query instead of doing an outside query. So let me run this thing. So now you can see this person count is 6, this person Dinesh count is 3, and Diksha this count is 3. So this is what we want. We want to retrieve these numbers, the details of those employees for which this count is 3 or more than 3. So in the outside query, let me put this as CTE, select star from CTE where CNT greater than equal to 3. Sorry. So we can see these details. Now we can just take these details, distinct ID, name and department. Now if I run this thing, it is giving me Ankit, Dinesh, Diksha. Okay, and same output was coming from this. Count we are taking here. If we want count also, then we can do this. Okay, so these three are the employees to whom more than three or more than three people are reporting. So these are the two methods using which we can solve this query. The only difference that you have to understand is here we are doing an aggregation, so we cannot preserve these details, so we are taking it from outside. Here, since we are doing a window function aggregation, hence we are able to preserve these details. So these details we no need to take it from outside query. Inside query itself is giving us all the details. In the outside query we are just putting count greater than equal to 3. So any method we can use, it is up to us with which method we are more comfortable. So thanks for watching this video.